The gold price rose to another new 6-month high against a weaker US dollar on Tuesday, even as Western stock markets trimmed their steep November gains in the face of rising long-term borrowing costs in the bond market. Previously rising over 10% so far this month despite the geopolitical turmoil around Israel's invasion of Gaza, in response to Hamas's terrorist atrocities of the 7th of October, the tech-heavy Nasdaq pointed 0.2% lower as the MSCI World Index of rich economy stock markets stalled at its highest since early August. The gold price in euros touched 3-week highs above €1,846, while the UK gold price in pounds per ounce briefly edged above £1,600 for the first time in a week. Rising to $2,025 per troy ounce, the price of gold in US dollar terms, meantime, held on track for a third successive afternoon, close in London, above $2,000. First breaching $2,000 in August 2020 amid COVID, the price of gold managed a 5-day stretch that month of fixing above that level at the London PM auction, the global benchmark price. Gold then fixed above $2,000 just once after Russia invaded Ukraine in early 2022, before recording a 7-day stretch this April, and then a 9-day $2,000 gold stretch in May, as the mini-crisis in regional US banking shares saw a jump in expectations that the Federal Reserve would cease and then start reversing its run of interest rate hikes. Betting on the direction of Federal Reserve interest rates today kept the odds of a further rise from the US central bank's current 2-decade highs at almost 1 in 10 for January, with betting on the first cut coming in May slipping to a 50-50 shot. But the end of next year will see Fed rates more than 0.8 points lower from today, says the market consensus shown on the CME Derivatives Exchange's FedWatch tool, and the risk of a hard landing for the economy is higher than expected, reckons U.S. financial giant Bank of America's chief investment strategist Michael Hartnett. Tipping bullion and bonds for investors in 2024, Hartnett expects bearish investor positioning in stocks, recessionary corporate profits, and easing interest rate policy to drive gold prices higher as longer-term borrowing costs fall. The potential upside in gold prices will be closely tied to U.S. interest rates and dollar moves, adds a new 2024 outlook from U.S. investment bank Goldman Sachs. But we also expect persistent strong consumer demand from China and India, alongside central bank gold buying to offset downward pressures from upside growth surprises and rate cut repricing. Prices for gold in Shanghai, the only legal entry point for bullion into China, the precious metal's #1 consumer market, today showed a $1.35 premium to London quotes, holding far above the historical average incentive for new imports of $8 per ounce. Hong Kong jewelers Luke Fook says its sales rose over 30% year-on-year in the 6 months to October, with profits rising by over 40% and mainly attributable to continuous improvement in sentiment in the retail markets of Hong Kong and Macau following the full reopening of borders, with the Chinese mainland following the abandonment of COVID lockdowns. China's #1 jewelers Chow Tai Fook last week reported 6% sales growth with a 36% rise in profits. But after a strong Diwali, and while India's gold demand has been solid so far in 2023, says a column at Reuters today, it appears that some momentum may be coming out of the precious metal's second largest consumer market as rupee gold prices track global quotes higher again, with local dealers having to offer discounts to the official tax and duty inclusive import price of $6 per ounce last week, despite the upcoming Hindu wedding season. With 6 members of the US Fed's policy team due to speak later today, Christine Lagarde, head of the 20-nation European Central Bank, said Monday that she remains determined to bring inflation down to the ECB's 2.0% annual target, both by keeping Eurozone interest rates higher for longer and by bringing forward the end of government bond purchases under the central bank's €1.7 trillion pandemic QE program. Silver also rose with the gold price, retouching Monday's 3-month dollar highs above $24.80 per troy ounce. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.